Hello, this is Chief RBC, and this is part 3 of Introduction to Unreal. In this section, we're going to talk a little bit more in depth on how to import an object. Now, importing objects into Unreal, you want to make sure that you have a folder somewhere on your computer that is dedicated specifically to the FBX files that you're importing. You want to keep your files clean. So what we're going to do is we're going to go under Content here, and we're going to, in our Bob directory, we're going to go under our meshes and into props, and we're going to hit the import button here. I've already done that, and we're going to import just something really simple here, my sidewalks. So I'm going to go ahead and hit open. When I import into Unreal, the first thing I want to make sure, now this particular FBX has no skeleton meshes attached to it. We do want to make sure that convert scene has been turned on. That makes sure that it's converted to the coordinate system of Unreal. Once again, each centimeter is equivalent to a meter, or sorry, to one Unreal unit in the engine itself. Okay, so centimeters to Unreal unit. Let me just be specific. If I open up this little caret down here, you can override the full name if you want to. We don't need to do that. And if we come down here, search location, we want to make sure it's set to local. Excuse me, local. And under material import method, we want to make sure that we create new materials. Now, the only time that you would use existing materials is if you already have set it up in either your Maya or Max, where you're going to import it with the materials that are already named. In this case, I haven't done any of that, so we're just going to do new materials into it. You can also put on here, do not create materials at all. So I can turn that one. We can try that one as well. And we're going to import the textures. I have no textures on this thing, so we're going to turn it off. And if we come down here to invert the normal maps. Now, this is the only time that you would use this is if you have created something, say, inside 3ds Max, which uses it uses OpenGL versus DirectX or something like that. So this will invert the normal maps, literally taking the green channel and flipping it in the opposite direction. We don't need that one turned on, but it's off by default. And then we just go ahead and import. Now, if you hit import all, it'll import everything that's associated with that file. I'm just going to go ahead and hit import here. And you'll notice that there are 3 things that came inside here. Now, this little asterisk star quite literally means that they haven't been saved yet. Okay, and you'll probably get a message that comes up here. In this case, no smoothing group information was found in this FBX scene because I haven't set any on it. And we're just going to take one of these real quick and just kind of pull it into the scene just to see what it looks like. Now, because I have not done any scaling on these, they're extremely small. Okay, you'll notice that they're just tiny, tiny, tiny. Okay, and that's fine. We're just trying to bring something in for the moment. So I'm going to undo what I just did. Now, if I click on this sidewalk right here, you'll notice it's really small and stuff. So good example of why we need to make sure that our scales are in centimeters and that they're correct and stuff like that. So you'll notice right here it has a world grid material applied to it by default. If I want to, I can go back here to our content, go under Bob again, meshes, and we've created material in the previous video, which was called our master plastic. I'm just going to go ahead and drag that right on top of this. And you'll notice now that our file actually has, let me just zoom in on it a little bit. Ooh. All right, right there. Okay. By the way, it goes really fast when you move in and out inside here. So if it's a bigger scale, it would go a little bit easier. But you can see that we have it now on there. And I'm just going to go ahead and hit save. And if we go back to our meshes into our props right here, you'll see that the asterisk is gone because we have saved the file. If I want to and I don't want to apply anything else to these things, I can just go ahead and hit save all and it will have saved them. All right, and it does ask at this point, what are we saving? Well, we're going to save an untitled name path. In this case, we're going to call it Bob. And I'm just going to go ahead and hit save right there. And it saves the whole map and everything as an actual file. Now, if I wanted to reopen that scene and open up the map, I can just come up here to File and I can open the level and it will go right to the map that we just created called Bob. All right, so that's kind of a quick overview about how to get an object into this. Now, once you have an object in, you'll see that it gives you all the information over here on the right. Okay, if it has LODs, you can import LODs levels right from here. You have your depth map bias, your light map resolution. Now we have talked about creating two sets of UVs in the past, and this is where you can set the resolution for that light map. 64 by default. Just know that the higher that gets, the more memory you're going to be doing it, and it stores all that information. And you can also set your collisions here, your block, to block everything and stuff. So let's say I've created this and I'm happy with it. I go right back into my content and drag that into my scene. I don't recommend this, but you can scale it. And if you look right here, there's a little lock. I lock that right there, and I'll set that to 100, and it will go ahead and do the values all the way across to everything. So here I am. I've got it. Now that I have my object in, I have to determine whether or not this is going to be a static object, a stationary object, or a movable. Because it's a sidewalk, my assumption is that it's going to be static. And if I look over here, I have this one set to static. I'm going to pull this one right out into about right there. Okay, and I'm going to come up to my light, select it, and I'm going to hit static on this one. Let's rotate around this for a moment. And we're just going to go ahead and, build a lighting pass on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here. I'm going to set my light quality to medium for a moment. And I'm going to go ahead and build just the lighting only, okay? The reason I don't want to do a full build on this thing is because I'm not yet ready to do that. So I want to make sure that I'm just going to build the lighting only at this point. And I'm going to pause it so that it can go ahead and build that, and it'll take just a second. All right, be right back. Okay, now that our static lighting has been built, you'll notice here that right off the bat, the shadows are really jaggedy and stuff like that. But the lighting for the most part is doing exactly what I want it to do. Partly the reason why we're seeing it really jaggy is because number one, we set our lighting quality to medium. If I increase it to production and then go into the model and I set the resolution to higher, override the light map resolution to higher than 64, your shadows will get smoother and a lot cleaner. Okay, well, that's a simple kind of getting into the engine. When we come back next time, we'll do a little bit more on kind of importing and setting up materials. All right, talk to you then. Bye.